Hey guys, just got a video sent to me, and I must make you aware of these type of people that are out there. And even though I am completely 100% against censoring, against our violation of freedom of speech or our First Amendment, I do wish some people would get fact checked, and and because I feel they can become a danger. I really do. I feel that they can become a danger. We just unfortunately lost our friend and our patriot sister, Kirsten W. And I was not by her side, and I had not seen her since September. All I had really done was talk to her, but from all the information that I'm gathering, and you know, and maybe it's something that I shouldn't do, but I'm very much into what ifs, and you know, what if I would have just been persistent and called around and found out what hospital she was at, and what if I would have done this, and what if this, and what if that, and I really shouldn't do that, and I do that a lot sometimes with certain situations, especially this type of situation. But I'm watching a video, guys, right now, that is absolute misinformation, that is absolute lies, and I urge you to be really, really, really careful. If you go back and watch my videos you go back to 2020, and you watch my videos when this whole pandemic started, I had no idea what it really was. I am just like the rest of you. I am not by any means a scientist or a doctor or anything, never claimed to be. And I was very respectful of the pandemic, regardless of the political aspect behind it, okay? Regardless. I was made fun of for wearing gloves one day because we thought it was on surfaces. Just if you guys remember correctly, we thought the virus lived on hard surfaces, and I used to take my shoes off before I went into my car. I mean, I used to do all kinds of crazy things, right? That only lasted probably about 2.5 weeks until more information started coming out. And then I realized, okay, well, maybe, you know, we don't have to be as strict. But then we went into lockdown. We had no choice but to go into lockdown. For me, I had nothing to do. All of my vendors in LA were closed, and the streets were empty, and we had nothing to do. And I really wanted to protect myself. I really did not want to get the virus. I stayed in lockdown for almost a year, over a year. And I was very respectful of the virus, whether it was a political sham, whether it was a biochemical attack, whether it was an attack on the elections, whether it was planned by the left administration, whether it was an attack from China, whatever it might have been. I always try to stay safe from it. I'm obviously don't like to be wearing a piece of cloth on me all day long. I don't think it's healthy to be wearing it all day long. I think, obviously sometimes, depending on how dirty these things are, sometimes maybe it could become worse. But what I also realized, and I still realize it now, and is that these have been around for decades. These are not new. These were not invented due to the pandemic. They've been around for years. And obviously if doctors at hospitals wear them, if nurses wear them, they must do something. And yeah, they may lower your oxygen levels, Georgette, possibly. I mean, it makes sense. Something's covering your face. But as far as the virus and protecting yourself around other people, you know what? Especially when it comes to runny noses and stuff like that, they may work in some way. And just so you guys know, I'm completely against mandates. I will not, as long as I can, be getting the vaccine. But what I just saw right now is something that really pisses me off. And you know, I know that a lot of you and most of you are conservative and you love political correctness, and I'm a candidate for Congress and everything else, but I must make you realize that political correctness is what's making Americans lose America, you know? Think of who is invading America. It's people from other countries, right? It's mostly Hispanics who are being used to turn America into another country, right? We don't know anything about political correctness. And unless you can't fight this with this, you got to fight this with this. Because if you fight this with this, guess what's going to happen? And that's what's happening right now. This is America. This is how they're fighting. And this is what's happening. You got to fight this with this. It's called opposition. It's called defense. I know that a lot of you expect me to be a lot more politically correct sometimes, as you know. I mean, as you can see, I can be. I can be very educated and very diplomatic. But guess what? That's not really getting us anywhere. You got to be real. You got to be real if you really want to fight back. And I understand that obviously you got to try your best not to be vulgar, not to be ratchet, vulgar, all of that. I get it. I come from a very educated family in Mexico who if, unless they had money, I could guarantee you a lot of Mexicans who are maybe, different would have caused a lot of damage to, because you got to learn to defend yourself. But anyway, I just watched a video by fraudulent Oscaro Blue that was sent to me. This is a man who last year for money was making fun of the pandemic, okay? He was making fun of the pandemic dressed in a hazmat suit at some point, making videos with hazmat suits, mocking the pandemic, mocking the virus, mocking. I've had now 8 people that I know of die from the pandemic. So obviously there's a virus out there. Obviously there's something out there that is real, that is killing people, because I know 8 of those people, right? And as we know, a lot more people have died, but then they've also increased the numbers, and they diagnose everybody with COVID and whatever. And I mean, they claim everybody died of COVID, maybe not, but something is definitely out there killing people. But here you have a guy who last year and also in 2020 was mocking the pandemic because there were no caravans and he didn't have anything else to talk about. So he wanted to be funny about the pandemic, right? Today, it seems to me like he has a bad case of COVID and he's probably broke and he's probably trying to fight it off at home and whatever else. But now he's lying to you and he's telling you that he had it back in 2020. For people like me, for people like him and others like us, we have people who are very obsessed with us all the time, right? And they're very obsessed with us all the time, who watch us closely all the time. The guy was never missing for 8 days in 2020, not once. The guy was begging for money every single day. There was not one time in 2020 where he was missing for 8 days. He's lying to you. He's lying to you. He was lying to you then about this virus and making fun of it. He's lying to you today. I want you to be aware, because it's people like him that try to play it off like it's no big deal, no big deal, no big deal. And when people do get it, maybe, you don't have to lose your life over it, instead of dressing up like a clown in a hazmat suit and making fun of something that is killing a lot of people. I mean, look at what just happened to Kirsten, okay? Kirsten didn't die of COVID. Kirsten died of something that's been happening for years, guys. Kirsten died of something that, a disease that's been around for centuries, right? And who is a disease that is easily caught at hospitals. It's the most popular place to get bacterial pneumonia are hospitals, right? Unfortunately. So she most likely caught it at a hospital or wherever she got her procedure done, right? So, but, with all this misinformation out there, she probably thought, I'll be fine. I have COVID. No big deal. I'll take this. I'll take, whatever. I'll be fine. I have a 99 point something percent rate of recovery, right? Whatever. It seems to me like it got out of hand. It seems to me that by, when it started, which was the end of January, to the time it got really bad, which was around January 4th, a lot could have been done, and it wasn't, because she probably felt she had COVID. She probably thought, oh, no big deal. I'll deal with this. I'll get over it. I'll be fine. I'm strong. I'm young. And she was. But obviously she wasn't strong or enough to beat it, because today Kirsten is dead. One of our biggest figures in this movement, one of our strongest, most talented, most, open and vocal voices that we had out there is dead. And she didn't die from COVID. She died from bacterial pneumonia. Because for the last 2 years, we've been undermining this the stupid China virus. That is real. And that has killed a lot of people. And for clowns like Oscaro Blue to be lying to you today and tell you that he doesn't have it, I don't know why he's lying now. I don't know why he's lying about 2020. I'm still trying to make sense of I mean, the guy can barely talk. It's obvious he has COVID. And then lying to you about having it, making up this entire story about having it in 2020. Again, my haters are so dedicated that if I was missing for 8 days, trust me, they would know. And it's the same with him. If he was missing for 4 days, trust me, people would notice. He was never missing for 8 days in 2020. He was begging for money on Facebook every single day, dressed with a hazmat suit, undermining the virus, doing all kinds of stunts to try to get money. And it's people like him that put other people's lives in danger. If you notice, I've never once undermined the virus. I had COVID not long ago. And I've always been telling you, even though I refuse to get the vaccine, I've always told you, take care of yourselves. Wear your masks. If you don't, I mean, whenever you can, not all the time, and not if you're at work, and not if you're at school, but if you're out at a supermarket, put it on. When you get out, take it off. That's it. Take it off, Yeah, she was very sick for a while, but trying to tell her what to do. People were telling her what to do in California. Well, that's what I'm saying. She was sick, and she probably thought she had COVID, and she said, "Oh, that's fine. I'll live from it. I'm taking my anti-COVID. She had an anti-COVID remedy or whatever. She was probably taking that, and she probably thought I'll be fine because she probably thought she had COVID. But there's a big difference between viruses and bacteria. She had a bacterial infection. She didn't have a viral infection, and so she was fighting a virus that she didn't have. Well, her body was getting intoxicated with a bacteria that ended up killing her. And she's dead, and she's gone, and we can't bring her back. And that's why, and see, it's so sad that it takes someone like Kirsten to be gone for us to be able to talk about someone. Because if we talk about my neighbor down the street, I can guarantee you 99.99999% of the world is not going to care. And then if we talk about that other person, nobody's going to care. But if we talk about Kristen, hopefully people will pay attention. And hopefully people will start taking this serious. And I'm not talking about COVID. I'm talking about everything. Because if we start blaming everything on COVID, look at what just happened. Look at what just happened. Her disease had nothing to do with COVID. And she's dead from it. And there's nothing we could do to bring her back. And like I said earlier this morning for a video that was taken down, if we politicize disease, if we politicize taking care of ourselves, Ben Bergquam is in the hospital. He's been talking against the virus for 2 years now? Now he has COVID. People saying he has pneumonia. I just saw a video where he says he has COVID. He's in the hospital. He's in the hospital with oxygen. Ben Bergquam. Kirsten just died from bacterial pneumonia. Because she probably thought she had COVID and she could beat it. And I could guarantee you, if before she left Florida, she would have made a trip to the grocery store and really, really taken this serious, she'd be alive right now. She would have probably never even ended up at the hospital because she was strong. Now, Oscar lying to you and telling you that he doesn't have COVID because he's trying to play it off like no big deal because he doesn't want any of his karma hitting him, and telling you that he had it back in 2020. He's lying. He never had it. I mean, maybe he had it, but he was never in a hospital. That whole story that he's making up to you is a lie. He was never missing for 8 days. He's lying. And this is why the internet can be so dangerous if it's misused. And I understand it. I'm against mandates. I'm against vaccines. I'm against, the government telling people what to do. I am 100% against all of that. But I will never, ever, ever, you will never hear me tell you not to take care of yourself. Because one of my good friends just died yesterday. Probably because she didn't take this serious enough. Why? Because of all the misinformation out there. Why? Because she was being bullied. Why? Because they made her feel like she wasn't good enough. And she wanted to be better. And I'm not going to go into detail about other things about her that she did over the last few months. But like I said earlier on a post that some of you didn't like because it wasn't politically correct enough for some of you, the people that were behind bullying her are going to pay for this. And, they may not pay for it legally. They may not pay for it criminally. I'm not going to do anything. God's going to take care of them. Kristen was bullied for the last 7 months, guys. 8 months. Kristen was bullied for months and months and months. Kristen was made fun of, bullied, harassed, stalked. The criminals that stalked me and harassed me targeted her and went after her viciously to the point they were driving her crazy at some point. And I, as a friend of hers, can tell you how much damage they did to her, which is what they've tried to do to me for years. I have the messages I can show you. I have the messages where I can show you her anger for what they were doing to her. And every single person that did this to her, you're going to pay for what you did. Because Kirsten was a huge voice. And I'm not going to try to find ways, but I'm just letting you know. The last 8 months of her life, she was majorly bullied and made fun of and harassed. And I know exactly who it was, even though you have your fake pages, because not only have you been doing it to me for 5 years, but I have court cases against you for the same thing. And you're going to pay. Again, I believe in divine justice. And again, you may not pay criminally, you may not pay civilly or whatever, but you're going to pay, And, I come from a country where I watched the way America is being invaded and taken advantage of, I watch how people from this side, from the southern border, think of Americans and why they're invading America and why they feel they can get away with it. And it's because of the political correctness in America. And it's because of how nice Americans are, how welcoming Americans are. So when you hear me say something, remember that I'm an American citizen, but I'm also an immigrant. I'm an immigrant who fights for what she believes in. I'm an immigrant that doesn't fight. As educated and as cultured, whatever I may be, I'm real. And I don't give a crap what people think of me. And I don't care if they make 1 million memes of me calling me fat. They're not going to break me. Not only because I am not fat, because I don't care if I am. And Oscaro Blue was one of the leaders behind the harassment and the bullying of Kirsten W. Oscar, I have no doubt in my mind you will carry this on your shoulders for as long as you live. You went crazy when she had me on her shows. You had all your trolls attack me, attack her channels. And I have no doubt in my mind, all of you are going to carry, and it's all documented. It's all there. We have all the screenshots of everything you did. I'm not just speculating or making this stuff up. She would be concerned about you before every show to make sure she had every single one of you blocked. Instead of being concerned about her show and the issues that we really have going on. She was concerned about your bullying and your harassment. Oscaro Blue and the rest of your criminal hate group, for the rest of your lives, know that for the last 8 months of Kirsten's life, you terrorized her. You bullied her. You humiliated her. The posts are all there. I can guarantee you, even after she's dead, they have not taken them off. A lot of you were witnesses to it. A lot of you have never heard of this, but it's all there. They tried to do the same thing with me. I just don't give a crap. All I did when they started calling me fat, you know what? Maybe I'll eat less tacos every now and then. Exactly, Georgette. Georgette knows everything they've done. Maybe I'll eat a little healthier and maybe, that's what I'll do. But I know the story behind it, even though most people don't. And for the rest of your life, you damn liar, because now you're lying about having had COVID in 2020 when you never had COVID. Well, at least you didn't go into any hospital. That whole story you just made up, to which I couldn't even finish watching, was false. You were never gone for 8 days. And I think you do have COVID now. You're just terrified that things are gonna get complicated. You know what? Maybe it's karma. But I know what you did to Kirsten. I know exactly what you did. I have all her messages of how upset she was for everything you were doing to her, you and your criminal hate group and the rest of you. And it's gonna find you. I can guarantee you that. And if you don't like me saying things in the way that I say them, oh, well, guess what? I don't care. It doesn't take away from the fact that they are true. And I'm going to fight back for what I believe in. So, no, she didn't die of COVID. She died of bacterial pneumonia. She had a medical procedure done a couple of weeks before she died, a few weeks before she died. And those are very common. Once you go into hospitals or any type of medical facility, you can easily get bacterial pneumonia. And so anyway, and in any case, even if she would have had COVID, I don't think the vaccine would have done much. I went to a doctor a couple weeks ago here, and they told me that they have about 10 people coming in every single day, a little tiny doctor's office, dying of COVID, and every single one of them is vaccinated with at least 3 shots. Almost all of them, because everybody here is vaccinated. Okay. Anyway, I will talk to you soon. And yeah, I think it's disgusting that people have used this disease to make a name for themselves, to beg for money, and to undermine the possible effects of any illness, not just COVID, but possibly, maybe bacterial pneumonia, or any other one. I mean, there are all kinds of infectious diseases. It's not all COVID, guys. I could guarantee you, if Kirsten W. would have told me on December 31st, I have bacterial pneumonia and I've had it for 2 weeks and I need help, we would have helped her. You know, we're not going to treat COVID. We're going to treat what it is. We're going to treat exactly what she has. But we keep undermining everything as, you know, oh, COVID, everything's COVID. And because of all the misinformation out there, instead of helping one another heal from it, we're saying it's no big deal. It's not going to kill us. Well, I know 8 people that have died from it. One of my best friends of over a decade just died from it. Someone who I never thought would die from it. 3 days, he was gone. So for Oscaro Blue to be dressed in a hazmat suit and making fun of it, and right now denying that he has it, he's a danger. He's a threat. And I don't care what people say. It's true. It's true. And it's not just because he's a criminal and a deported felon. It's because it's true. Instead of doing that, he should be making videos on helping people how to heal, how to get better, how to get stronger. So that when they do get it, they don't, first of all, they do get that or any other disease, they fight it off. Your husband died from viral bacterial pneumonia, cardiac arrest. Your husband had a lot of underlying conditions too, though, Georgette, because I saw his medical records. You showed them to me. And I don't think Kirsten had all those underlying conditions. And I think she could have recovered from this. And I don't think she had to die from this. I really don't. But I also know that the last few months had been hard on her. And a lot of that had to do with the terrorist harassment, humiliation, threats. They even posted pictures of her house back in July. Remember, Georgette? They posted pictures of her house threatening her because I was there. And Oscaro Blue and the rest of his criminal hate group were all behind this, are all behind this. They're still posting about her today, even though she's dead, making fun of her and making fun of me. I don't care if they make fun of me. But yeah, they posted pictures of your house. They posted pictures of Kirsten's house, threatening her. Why else would you post pictures of somebody's house if not to threaten them? Shame on you, Oscaro Blue. Shame on you and Mary and Fabiana and all of your criminal hate group. For the rest of your life, know that Kirsten's death in her last 8 months, you were trying to destroy her life. That's why she had to pretend she wasn't my friend. You're disgusting, and you're going to pay for everything that you've done. And if that's not politically correct, and this is going to come back and bite me in the ass as a congressional candidate, so be it. Doesn't take away from the fact that it's true. I care about what God thinks of me. And I'm letting you know that I'm aware of what you did to her. I have all the messages from her. I know exactly what you did to her. You did to her what you do to me. I just don't care. You've been doing it for years. You caused a lot of damage to me at some point. But fortunately for me, I was raised by a man who told me, if somebody hits you, you hit them 10 times harder, which I have done. That's why I have beat every single one of you disgusting psychos in court. I thought you and I were okay. We've been okay for years. I mean, we disagree on our political ideologies, but anyway, I've had a cordial relationship with Naui over the years. So I don't know why he's over here, but yeah, America has to be respected now. We've agreed on this, right? America is not Mexico now. And we will never let America turn into Mexico now. Okay? You want to eat tamales and enchiladas and tacos and sopes and pozole? Come to Mexico. That's fine. I love it. I love it here. But when I'm in America, I'm more into, I'm like drooling as I say this. I'm more into, barbecues and everything the American lifestyle is about. I don't want ketchup on my enchiladas, and I don't want salsa on my pizza. I just don't. Okay? I like the difference. I like the contrast. I really do now, and I don't want to lose that. But if you really are so much into your heritage and everything else, come to Mexico. It's so simple. I don't think people like you all that much in Mexico, though, to be honest with you. But because they don't really like Americans all that much in Mexico. And I'm just being honest. And you're American, so you should fight for your country. So anyway, careful, guys. Careful to all of you who, for the last 8 months, attacked Kirsten. You did a lot of damage. And I have no doubt in my mind you're going to pay for it. Bye, guys.